Vince here, Appomattox River Company. 2020 has been an interesting year in paddle sports. COVID hit, and it seemed like the public at large realized, hey, we need to either spend a lot of time at home and spend money on improving our home environment, and also we need to get outside, recreate outside, social distance outside. And so canoes, kayaks, paddle sports saw a bit of a boom. It's been a good year in some senses in that regard, but there's been a lot of people who have still suffered in this industry. If your e-commerce component was not strong, if you were unable to adapt to the COVID guidelines, then you suffered, and that's no great fault to anybody. For us, we've done fairly well. In Farmville, we've had some success, and that's been built off that e-commerce component and being able to adapt to a strong curbside pickup guidelines and that sort of thing. That has not stood true for our other stores. And as this pandemic has progressed, it's affected our supply chains drastically. You can see it in other shops. You can see it all across the country. It's hard to find canoes and kayaks. A lot of shops have had a hard time. They can't get product in. Therefore, you can't push product out. You're not making any money. We've seen some shops close, and we're hearing about more and more shops closing every day. That all to say, while Farmville has been doing well, our satellite shops did not do well. We have shut down the Richmond store, and we're looking for a new location for that store and continue to kind of look a little bit, but at the same time, we're running into the same issue that we've run into now in the Hampton store, which is we don't have product to put in the store, which leaves us in a precarious situation. So Hampton doesn't have product in it to generate revenue to keep its lights on. And that's no fault of the staff there. That's no fault of the customers. Everybody has been super supportive of that store. The staff has been excellent. But business-wise, we've gotten to the point where there is no supply to put into that store. And the outlook from the industry, that's not going to change very quickly. And so we've come to the really tough decision that we are going to have to close that Hampton store. The Hampton store is closing on September 30th. So it's a tough thing. It's a tough thing to do. It's a tough thing to do all around. And we care very deeply about the staff down there. But we don't have any recourse of action to keep it alive. The e-commerce component of the Farmville store keeps it humming along, and there's just not that component in those satellite shops. It's hard to generate that in multiple shops. So look for that happening September 30th. We will continue to service that market via our delivery program. That will be we're going to try and buffer up that section of our business and really focus on that delivery component of Virginia Deliveries, white glove service, bringing it to your door. So look for that as we flesh that out even more. We've been making runs pretty regularly to Nova and to the coast and to the mountains. We'll continue to do those runs and into Richmond, etc. So we're here still to supply the great state of Virginia and beyond with product. Supply chains are still disrupted. We have been. If you follow us on Facebook, you see whenever we get inventory updates, we post a picture of the truck, post a picture of the truck that we're unloading with links to the brands that we've gotten in. Most of our trucks are falling anywhere in a 24 boat to 50 boat category. We are used to, in years past, getting hundreds in at a time. That's not the case right now, and I don't foresee it being the case for a little bit. So you'll continue to see us getting small loads in. We post the link up on Facebook. So if you follow us on there, you'll get those inventory updates pretty fast. We've also started to incorporate some notify us when things are in stock components on our website. We're slowly adding that to our product line, so look for that as well as a way to notify yourself if you're looking for a certain boat. A lot of people are still asking about ordering ahead of time. We still haven't been doing too much on the pre-order side. There are a few brands we do it with, but for the most part, because the supply chains have been so disrupted, we're reticent to take people's money when we're not exactly sure when we'll get product in. It is preseason time now, so we're starting to make our big predictive buys for next year, which this year feels pretty daunting just given the unknowns. But know that Farmville here is still making those moves and still looking to service your needs into the future. I've had a couple of meetings and conversations with other specialty shops around the country. One of the issues that you need to be aware of, we're a specialty independent dealer. We are a small business. We are a family business. There's been a lot of those businesses that have been suffering over these last few years. That is for several reasons. One is Amazon. Amazon component. A lot of the manufacturers are selling direct to Amazon, which, we were once a 3P seller, which meant we posted our products that we sold on Amazon. But Amazon takes 15%. So if you're selling big ticket items and Amazon's taking 15% just for you posting on their website, it's a diminishing return. And so we have gotten out of that game. The other component of the industry is manufacturers going to D2C, which means direct to consumer. So a lot of manufacturers, kayak manufacturers, etc., have begun going to direct to consumer sales for the last 3-4 years. And that's, exponentially jumped. What COVID has done in every industry retail wise is it sped up this timeline that was like years in the making and condensed it real fast into a couple months. So all these manufacturers are looking around, and what they're seeing is they're losing revenue because not enough retailers in their space adapted over the past to e-commerce. There were some components, some retailers like Appomattox River Company who did adapt early and got out ahead of it on the e-commerce component. And so we did really well for a lot of years. But now we're entering the stage where the mid-majors like us who got into e-commerce early are kind of being penalized in a way because everybody else didn't. All the specialty retailers who decided they weren't going to get involved in e-commerce, they were just going to stick strictly to brick and mortar, now are on the back end struggling, and all the manufacturers are looking at their sales and saying, okay, we've got all these retail partners and none of them are able to address where the consumers are, which is online. And so we need to be there to do it. And so I don't completely fault them in that. This is not a trash the manufacturer's statement, because I get it from a business sense. A lot of the onus is on retailers who stuck their heads in the sand and said they weren't going to adapt to e-commerce. We did adapt to it. We rode the wave, and we rode it well, and we did well, but now it's starting to shrink up because of that D2C component and that Amazon component. So we have to play a little tighter to our vests, and that's what we're going to do here in Farmville. So you will continue to see Farmville Appomattox stand where it stood since 1977. We will continue to move forward. There were rumors of our demise. Those rumors were greatly exaggerated. The rumors about Hampton Closing are true. So the Hampton store closes on September 30th. Here in Farmville, we will continue to service Paddlesports customers as we always have done. And we will continue to be a strong player in the e-commerce game. But keep in mind that supply chain is still severely disrupted and will probably continue to be severely disrupted through the rest of this year. thank you for all of your patience. I was just watching a video of a friend of mine who owns a shop across the country, and he was lamenting some of this season's woes and some of the things that have been outside of our control. And it's been super busy and very hectic, but there's been a lot of stress involved in it. And when you're coming from a place of constantly looking to supply excellent customer service, but being so overwhelmed with the emails and the messages and the phone calls from people looking for boats because there's none in the country and everybody's hustling, trying to find it. And so stuff starts to slip through the cracks. Your customer service starts to take little dips here and there. And every time that happens, it crushes you as a person who cares deeply about it. And that's something that we do. We care deeply about it. So know that while it's been a fruitful year for this shop here in Farmville, we have had some struggles. It's been tough. It's been a hustle. And we haven't always performed at our best. But that has come with a very strange and unusual year. But we're going to continue to get better, continue to push. And I just wanted to say we're greatly appreciate what our Richmond staff brought to the table and what our Hampton staff brought to the table. We are a family here, and it hurts to have to close those shops. But at the same time, as a business, we have to look at it a little bit differently. And they're just not feasible components at this point. We can't put boats in those stores. We can't generate revenue. So we love you. Thanks for supporting us. Look for us to, like I said, follow us on Facebook to continue to get those inventory updates here in Farmville. You'll continue to be able to get delivery to the coast and to Richmond, personal delivery by us. So jump on that, and we appreciate all the support. We appreciate all the love, and I know our staffs in Richmond and Hampton do as well. Thanks for taking the time to listen or watch, and have a good weekend. Be safe out there. Lots of high water because of the rain, so be careful, be wise about your decisions, and we'll see you out there. All right, thanks.